Thank you, Madam Minister. Let me now invite the President of the International Committee of the Red Cross, Mr. Peter Maurer.
Dear co-hosts and participants, thanks a lot for having us brought together today and for being here. A little bit more than a year ago, and I was just a couple of months in my tenure as President of ICRC, I was largely unaware of the magnitude and complexity of the problem of sexual violence. To me, it was one of the many heart-wrenching issues that my organization, the ICRC, deals with in situations of conflict. Over the last 12 months, my perspective has changed, not least because of an important meeting I had with Willem Hague, during which he walked me through his concerns and spoke powerfully of the importance of bringing sexual violence center stage. Shortly after this meeting with Willem, I visited Kagabondoro in the Central African Republic. The drama of sexual violence unfolded in front of me as I listened to our delegates telling me stories about taboo and stigmatization, lack of adequate space for treatment, warfare hampering progress, accelerating numbers of victims, treating the invisible, and above all, the tremendous mental strength needed when working at the abyss of the human nature. My organization is present in over 80 countries across the globe. We have 12,000 colleagues working in some of the most dangerous places in the world. We are present in many Kagabandoros. For 150 years, we have endeavored to limit the impact of armed conflict on civilians. Today, we continue to help victims of war and violence. We use the law and we address vulnerabilities and patterns of violence. In prisons and ministries, with armed forces, opposition fighters and community leaders, we talk to the perpetrators of sexual violence in conflict in order to change their behavior. Every day we see sexual violence in places where we are striving to make a difference. We witness the effect of the silent crime on individuals, families, and communities. Nobody is raped by accident. Sexual violence is not collateral damage. It never occurs in isolation. Sexual violence is deeply linked to other patterns of violence in conflict, and it is absolutely prohibited under international humanitarian law. It can amount to torture, and it is always ill treatment. It turns specially protected persons into subjects of deliberate attacks. Women, men, and boys and girls are subject to rape, abuse, forced prostitution, survival sex, and trafficking. Young girls are married before puberty to strangers or even to the men who raped them. Fathers are forced to watch the rape of daughters, husbands, the abuse of their wives and children, violence committed against their mothers, their sisters. Male victims are accused of homosexuality, isolated, silent, wounded. It is a testament to the survivors of sexual violence that we are all here today. The strength of their courage to speak out or just carry with them the tragedy of what they have experienced. Sexual violence is a crime where we stigmatize the victims, not the criminals, where risk of rejection and fear of reprisal compounds extreme violence. The ICRC is here because that needs to change. Over the next 4 years, we will prioritize an effective response to sexual violence. For instance, in Colombia, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Central African Republic, Mali, South Sudan, and Syria, we are developing and reinforcing our programs, working with others, changing behaviors, and providing life-saving help to detainees, abused women, vulnerable girls, and the male victims of those crimes. Together with our Red Cross and Red Crescent partners, We are committed to improving the quality and the scope of our programs. We must be proactive and not wait for the victims to come to us. I believe the ICRC has an important role to play in the prevention and the global response to victims of sexual violence. We talk, yes, to people, leaders, policymakers, to communities, families and victims. We carve out safe spaces for confidential dialogue. But also, we act. We must talk and act to end sexual violence in conflict. I thank you.